Chris.
Johnny.
Yeah. The 1-year marketing plan is coming the 19th and 20th to Wizard Academy. And I think it's interesting, and we've seen this, you and I have seen this so often with clients that we've worked with, is how they can be real in their ads. Maybe talk about that for just a second. Why is that important?
So many people aren't themselves, and they are sort of the way they seem to think they should be prescribed in a certain product category or just as a business. And over the years, I've learned that the companies that stand out, they stand out because of the people behind the business or the idea behind the business. But it's those little things. It's the goodness in their heart or their weirdness about something that makes. We worked together on a meat market in a small Midwestern town, and it was the fact that these few brothers were, although they're millionaires, they work in the business and they wear the garb, and they're absolutely obsessive about what they do, maybe to a fault. But it's that fault that I don't really care if I'm going to get if I'm going to get meat, I want to get it from the guys that are absolutely obsessed about it. And so I think it's surprising to people who go through this process or any uncovery process that being themselves is really what we're looking for and what we're trying to scrape away to.
That's such a good point. And I think businesses are doing it already. It's not something that we're going to artificially apply to a business. Now you're this quirky person. You probably are this quirky person, or you probably are this good-hearted person, or you probably are this obsessive person. So, what we want to do is take what's real, what's true about you, and amplify it, and send it out to people, because that's the stuff that's magnetic.
Yeah.
So I think people try to put like a false veneer on themselves because they think, well, this is what an ad should look like, and we have to make it all glossy and shiny. And in our class, we're going to take you in the opposite direction and make it kind of rough and clunky.
Another thing that's surprising to folks who go through this process is how individual they really are. And that may sound sort of weird, but everybody's business is such a unique and disparate thing, and in our minds, I think that's their strong point, and also what they need to really focus on at every step of the way, whether it be how the budget, the media they choose, all that has to do with their market and their business and what they're trying to accomplish and what they sell.
And so I think that's a key point there as well. You said start from the start, and that's really that sounds so obvious, but so many people approach their advertising as, well, where's the best place to advertise? Yeah. Should I be on social media? Should I be on billboards? Should I be on TV? And none of that matters until we build this strategic stuff underneath it.
Figure out what the heck you're trying to make happen. Right. What you have to work with. You and I have both talked a lot about, so you write about it, and I talk a lot about product cycle. And that's something that I don't think most businesses at all really think about in terms of thinking about that budget and then the media you choose. And we spend a good amount of time on there. And I think you'd agree that that's huge mistakes can be found in that by not looking at that, and a whole lot of bonuses as well if you concentrate on how often people buy your product.
We're going to look at how you budget. First of all, what kind of money do you set aside for advertising and marketing, and then where do you apply that? And we're going to look at all the various media that's out there, from the mass to the targeted. And what makes your life so much easier is when you have this foundation of the story that exists, the strategy that exists. Everything else springboards off of that, and it makes the production of the ads and the story so much easier.
There's a really good chance that if you come to this class, we'll have some experience either in your market or a market. We'll definitely have experience in a market just that size with the same dynamics where media is concerned, and that's really media choice becomes a really making the right media choice is it's pretty easy. It's also really pretty easy to mess up.
We'll give you permission to not do stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to leave things out intentionally
Yeah.
because it's going to make the other stuff work.
Yeah, so you
so
may
much.
have to give up the high school baseball
Right.
scholarship thing or sign on the field. I think the really cool part is that we say you're going to leave the class with a a year's worth of a campaign. I think it's more than that. I think you're going to leave with properly done, really your springboard to years and years worth of a proper campaign.
A lot of businesses, I think, because they tend to do their advertising month to month. What are we going to run this month? What are we going to run next month? What are we going to? And that's how you get caught up in this trap of maybe always doing a promotion or just or let's just run what we did last month. And so, yeah, I think we're gonna look at how you plan for 5-7 years down the road, but also how do you apply those little short-term hits, those targeted things that make sense too, and how do you keep it in balance? Most businesses spend too much time, I think, on the short targeted stuff and not enough time on the long-term brand building stuff, and we're going to help you tilt that.
Well, I mean, you speak as well as anyone and write as much as anybody I've seen about that sort of split, that short-term, long-term split. I mean, what do you think that folks are going to, we can give folks as far as how much promotion they should do and how much brand building they should do?
Yeah, you're going to find that there's a percentage. And if you look at your marketing budget in two buckets, one that says, this is the stuff that we're going to do to build our brand, to tell people who we are tomorrow, or today rather, who won't need us until tomorrow. Tell them why and wait for the when is something that we always say to folks. And there's that budget, and you set it over here and you don't touch it and you leave it and you let it simmer and do its thing. And then with a little bit of your budget, 40%, 30%, you look at that and say, okay, now where do we target folks who actually are warm targets, who are in the market today, who want you now, and apply some of that. When you get those things working together, it tends to work better.
Yeah, and I think that it's really easy to show people how to create that in their messaging and to be able to go home with examples, full years percentage wise example of messaging that's branding, bonding, and some that's more invitation to act and promotional. And really, I think that's such a cool thing that people just can't find. And I think it's hard to read, even, read a bunch of our stuff online, and you're not going to be able to do that.
You'll be glad you spent a couple of days with us and go back ready to plug this thing in and be ready for your next 12 months of marketing and advertising. And as Chris says, build a foundation that can withstand years.
Yeah, and it's going to be different than anybody in your product category in your town. This is still something. Most of the stuff that we talk about, for some reason, hasn't. Not most people aren't aware of, and so it's going to make a big difference.
September 19th and 20th at the wonderful Wizard Academy down in Austin, Texas. And you go to wizardacademy.org and sign up right now.
Great time to be in Austin.